I don't know, Birchas Hanotain Lasachvi Bina, he says, Kavar Hodaticho, I've already told you, he says, Ki Leil Hu Kodem Chatzos Alayla. The word Leil refers to the time before Chatzos. And the word Alayla itself, Hu Acharatzos, it comes after the time of itself. Okay, Ano Mevarchim Bracha, so therefore we come and we make this Bracha, Acharatzos Laila Be'elach, after midnight and onwards. So he says, Lasachvi, we didn't really get, he just said that's a fact because of the two constructions of Leil and Lila. Lasachvi, the concept of Lasachvi, who Gabriel, Gavriel is Gabriel, is Lasachvi is Gabriel. Sod Hagavura. So then what happens after midnight is that there's a hamshacha of the radiance of Bina into Gevura. So the connection starts there. That's the concept. Zakvi is the Gevura, which is Gavriel, and the Nosen the Sachvi Bina. So then he says he mismatekes. That is, I guess he means the Gevura. Then he brought him wine, and he drank. The army Be'maya, that what did he do? He brought water into the wine. So this water is Lashon Chesed. So it caused the yain to make everybody happy, or it's a happiness wine. This is the sacred secret of the daytime. So ultimately the day. About Hagavura Ba'atzba, the Gevura itself, he yain and Meshaker. It's wine that makes you drunk. Shuhu Sod Halayla, which is the secret of the nighttime. Now he just said that before Chatzos is Leil, after Chatzos is Lila. And now he said, V'hu Sod Halayla is the secret of the nighttime, which is the time after Chatzos. But this is the wine he's talking about by itself, which is Meshachim. So that's why the rest of the bracha says to distinguish between what's daytime and what's nighttime. Why? And this is the distinction comes as a result of the changing of the wine, which comes from Bina, and that's the element that distinguishes between day and nighttime. So now we're on number Shin Gimel. Shin Gimel says on the Birchas Hanos in the Sachvi Ata Mefarish Rav Kavanas Birchas Hanos in the Sachvi Bina, and he said V'zel Lashono. This Lashon Rav. This is what the Rav says. Where does he say that? He says V'shar Maimari Rashbi Amar Od. He says furthermore. Ov chacha leil ad lo kabilas dochar, until there's a time when the male comes to the female. Now, what did that mean? He said da ki leil, the lashon leil. This really refers to hu leah bisman chatzos laila, at the moment of midnight, b'laila rishona. So again, bisman chatzos laila rishona. So he says ki oz. Eder mispashetes b'fnim or with b'panim dezeranpen elo ad chazak mizdaveges im Yaakov oz he din. Now let's go back and say that he says da. What is the reason why the word leil hu leah refers to leah at what time? Bisman chatzos laila, at midnight. Rishon, I guess he means on the first side of midnight. Ki oz, because at that time, enem is pashetes bifnim, the zeranpin, she doesn't, I don't know if it's bepon the zeranpin, she doesn't spread into zeranpin, apin, the zerapin, ella ad hachaza, only she is able to reach to the chaza, and mizdavegas im Yaakov, for oz he din. Now that's a time when we say that she has a yichud with Yaakov at the chaza. Avach achar chatzos, he mispashetes the mata ad makom rachel hanikras he achrona. So then after Chatzos, she spreads down into the area which was in the Chaza Lamata, and there she is taking the place of Rachel. I guess Rachel goes down into Bia. And when that happens, she gets more rachamim. Nick was Lila Behe Yisera. So then it's called Lila instead of Leil, it becomes Lila. So he says Behe Yisera, Bezehu Leil Shmurim Hu Halayla. So this is the night of Shmurim, which is now the time of Lila. Now all of that I didn't really get exactly. I had some questions about it. Why does she pick up more rachamim as she goes down below the chaza? I would think that there would be higher rachamim on the higher level, but it says that as she goes down and she fills up the whole space, she gets more rachamim. So then it says like the so he says already from midnight, that's when you can say this bracha, which really distinguishes between day and night. Since already you have the hay added onto the word leil, which the hay once again represents Rachel, and she's now in the place of Rachel, Masha Ein came Chatzos, which is not the case. Before Chatzos, Shuchal Hadayim Einu Laila, which is still not Laila, it's Leil, Ki'im Leil. Then he says, Lasachvi, Hu B'Gematria Malach Gavriel. So he says that the word Lasachvi, it comes out, if you take the two words Malach and Gavriel, it comes out to that Gematria. So he says, excuse me, B'Chetzer Halayla, Nimshachim HaMochim B'Bina the Gevura, then the Mochim spread from Bina to Gevura. He says, as we said before, and that starts to sweeten everything up. Sheshnechem came b'kav small because they're both on the left line. So now he has a pirush, Shenoisin Mochin the Bina the Gevura Anikra Lasachvi. So the Bina which said before is called the Lasachvi, which is Gavriel. So he said, now when Gevura actually receives those Mochim, Ozi Nimtakis, that of course sweetens the Gevura. Shuhu Loshan Hazoer, this is the language, let's say, what was the phrase? Basod Mansha Amr Hakosev Yovu Lo Yayin V'Yesh. He said, the army Beimaya. Shuhu Loshan Hazoer, that's the language of the Zohar, that you bring the water into it, which is saying that water is the Loshan, relatively speaking, that Bina represents to Gevura. Then he says, so this becomes now mixed wine. And then this becomes the wine that makes everybody happy. Which, and now he says, well, this is actually the concept of day. He said, because daytime, or I guess he means boker, like morning, but he says, in the morning, represents chesed. In order to say over your chesed in the morning. And so he says, chesed keil kol chayom. So the word chesed and daytime, he wants to say, is that goes together. It says, that when daytime comes, that's when the sweetening of the din comes, which is the wine, so then he says, Hagavuros levadim b'locha b'shum mitok shal hachasada b'nikwa mayim. So he said, see, let's go back to the phrase. He says, Ava gavura ba'atzma he yayin the mishachar. If you want to just talk about gavura, it's numbing wine. It's the kind of wine that he says is gavuradik. It makes you drunk. Hagavuros levado below shum mitok shal hachasada b'nikwa mayim him nekwaim yayin the mishachar. And then he said, "V'hu so the Lila." This is the secret of the nighttime. B'Lila hu zaman shlitas gevuras v'chadenim. That's the time when they have their greatest power. V'lechein Lila nikra yayin the mishacher. So therefore, nighttime is called the wine that makes one drunk. So he said, "V'shehi hamasameach." So let me just read the black card. He b'zech b'masha armad lahavkin bein yom ubein Lila. Shuhu al yedech b'chayayin hamasameach. How can you tell the difference between light and darkness? That's by this wine which has been sweetened by Bina. He said, because that wine that makes everyone happy, it stands out from Bina, as we said. So the last one is So that the relationship between Bina, which now pouring relative chesed into Gevura, Shiha Bina, just a little bit more, he says, Mavchin Bein Hayom Ubein Laila, that's the part that is able to distinguish between these two elements. Okay, that's it for today over here, Adkan. And let me stop that.